Welcome to this webinar where we will focus on insights from email marketing and trends, where we can find them and how you can use them. This webinar is a bonus webinar in the Mastering Apsis series. And if you haven't seen the first 5 yet, you can find them and watch them on apsis.com. The webinar will take 30 minutes, and in the end, we will answer your questions. And you can ask your questions in the chat, and we will address them at the end of the webinar. My name is Carina Carlén, and I work as a professional services consultant. And with me, I have my colleague, Soumya. Soumya, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Carina. Hi, my name is Soumya Lernhag, and I work as well, like Carina, as professional services consultant. So as a PS consultant at Apsis, we are both in charge of onboarding customers in Apsis platforms, provide assistance with API integrations between Apsis and client systems, and we also advise customers on how to structure their data, segments, and marketing automation flows. Now, these are some of the points that we will cover today. How you can read engagement trends to anticipate what your audience needs next, how to use profile and behavioral data to continuously sharpen your segmentation, how to measure what your automation flows actually deliver, and how you can build a reporting rhythm that keeps your team focused on what matters. Now, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about insights in Apsis? You're right, the Apsis dashboard. Here you get a clear picture of your account's open rates, clicks, consents, all in one place. It helps you understand what's working, what's not, and how your audience is engaging with your content. Think of it as your marketing report card, but actually useful. Now, here is an example of the insights available on your Apsis dashboard. Now, in this example, on the top, you see the number of profiles that exist in your account, the number of emails sent this month, SMS credits, and the number of consents recorded. You can also see the sendouts done through marketing automation flow. Now, in the bottom part, you can view the period-specific insights with a graph and a date filter to the right-hand side. The date filter allows you to select a specific time period for viewing the data. It makes it easier to pull data for specific reporting cycles, such as weekly reviews or monthly performance summaries. It also helps you compare how the, just give me a sec.
It's okay, Soumya.
I'm just, it's a usual nervousness that I'm feeling right now. I just need to breathe.
That's fine.
So it also helps you compare how the emails campaigns have performed across the different time frames, making it easier to spot trends or changes in engagement. It also, it's also good to know the open rates, click rates, click to open rate that you see in the bottom of this dashboard. Now, open rate is always based on subject line, pre-header strength, and sender repetition. And the click rate that you see, it requires a deliberate action, and it's not affected by privacy tools. And the CTOR, that is a click to open rate, is one of the best ways to tell if your email content is actually good. It shows how your the profiles who open your email went ahead and clicked something, which tells you if your content and CTA button, that is the text links, are interesting enough to act on. Now, if you go to the next slide, you will see how to interpret the report stats after a campaign in Apsis 1 is sent out. Now, here's a breakdown of the key stats. Delivery stats. That is the sent emails, delivered emails, and bounces can be seen here. Then you have the engagement stats. You have unique opens, that is a number of profiles that open the email. Unique clicks, that is a number of profiles that click the link. Then you have opens versus, that is total opens versus unique opens. That is even like profiles who have repeatedly opened, the same person as repeatedly opened, that is a total opens. Unique only counts each profile once. Click versus unique clicks. It's the same logic as above. Then you have problem signals. That is the spam complaints. That is profiles that reported your email as spam. Then you have unsubscribes, that is profiles that opted out through this email. Now in the next slide, you can see how this data can be interpreted. Pattern recognition. What do these trends mean? What do these data that you see in the report stats mean? So if you see high open rates, that is open rates are rising, topic is resonating with your audience. But if you see opens are falling, that is CTR, that is click-through rate is stable, that means subject lines are underperforming, but content quality is fine. You can test personalizing subject lines or sending time. Then if you see high opens but low clicks, curiosity without conversion, the subject line grabs attention, but the email content doesn't deliver on its promise. CTAs, that is call to actions, are unclear, content feels incomplete, or links don't match expectations. Unsubscription spikes after topic. That means you've found an audience boundary. The topic is irrelevant, or that topic isn't why your subscribers subscribe to your newsletter.
Soumya, is it always the case that the high opens and low clicks depends on unclear CTAs?
Good question, Carina, and good observation on that. This isn't always a matter of an unclear CTA. In some cases, a newsletter may be purely text-based with no CTAs at all, in which case a high open rate simply indicates that the content is well written or well read and engaging. Now let's go ahead to see the 3 key metrics to generate an open. So in the slide, you'll see the 3 key metrics to generate an open. First of all, the sender's name. Now, before anyone reads your subject line or opens your email, they check who it's from. So in fact, 72% of people look at sender's name first when deciding whether to open an email. Second of all, the subject line. This is your second chance to get noted. While the sender's name grabs attention first, 23% of people look at the subject line before deciding whether to open an email. Thirdly, the pre-header or preview text. Now this text is the unsung hero of email marketing. Only 5%, about 5% of people look at pre-header text. So as Darth Vader from the film Star Wars says, do not underestimate its power. Now we just looked into some of the key points on how to read engagement trends. Do you think the trends you are currently seeing in your reports would look different if you filtered them by a specific customer segment? The answer is yes. Now my colleague Carina will tell us how segmentation can help improve the insights. Over to you, Carina.
Thank you, Soumya. Yes, let's talk about segmentation from an insights perspective. So with segmentation, we can use profile and behavioral data to continuously sharpen our communication. And it also gives us a valuable tool to get insights into our performance. There we go. The 2 layers of smart segmentation are firstly the profile data. So this is the data that we can add to profiles through integration, API, or simply import Excel sheets. This is what we know about our profiles, and it can be name, age, location. It can be company name, subscription preferences, customer or member statuses, and other custom CRM attributes like account manager or start dates or end dates. So anything that we can know about them. And then we have the other pillar, which is the behavioral data. This tells us what they do. What emails do they open and what links do they click? We can use this to draw conclusions. If profiles often click on specific type of product links, we can draw a conclusion that they are interested in this type of product. We can find profiles that are inactive to be able to activate them, and we can also use their website visit pattern to segment into different audiences. You can also check for form submits, create forms in Apsis to get new subscribers or signups for downloading materials like product PDFs and see how they convert. So let's take a look at an example segment and what it looks like inside the Apsis platform. So in your account, you can choose between your data to start finding your target groups. And in this case, let us use the attribute called customer status, and we set it to new. This lets us find all our new customers, and the new status helps us welcome them in a proper way. For example, sending them through a marketing automation welcome flow, listening to customer status equals to new. But to add another layer in this segment, we can add a click on a URL. So let's say our new customer welcome email contains a clear call to action that we want them to click on. And this could be our conversion goal for this welcome flow. So, and when we click on show profiles, we will find a selection of matching profiles, but we will also find the segment trend. The segment trend lets you follow your segment over time, and using segment trend, we can see if our goal, which in this case was clicking the link, is successful or not. So the diagram will show you how your effort is progressing over time. So this type of data lets us know if the call to action button is working or not. Maybe we can get another result if we changed it. Maybe the CTA placement is wrong, or the text needs to be more precise. In these type of scenarios, A/B testing is a great tool. It lets you test different call to actions, messaging, and content to be able to get the insights that you need to improve your communication. So let us take a look at another example with the website interactions. So using tracking script and page views, we can see how much traction a certain web page has. We can see what pages our contacts has visited. We can use it for insights on what type of information that is most valuable to our contacts. Which product or service pages are they visiting? Is our call to actions driving traffic to the landing pages? So let's use an example. If we at Apsis are driving a campaign for insights, like this webinar, we might want our traffic to lead to the dashboard and trends page in apsis.com. With the segment tracking page views, we can see if our efforts are increasing the traffic or not. If it does, well, then the campaign was successful. And if it didn't, then we need to adjust something. Let's take a look at another example using unsubscribe trend. So in this scenario, the unsubscribe is set to a specific subscription in Apsis. So we can set the topic ID as it's stated here in the image. So this lets us follow the traction a certain campaign or topic has. So if the unsubscribes are low, we know we're doing the right thing. But if we see spiking here with unsubscribes, we know that there is a mismatch on what we are delivering and what the recipients expects. So use your data to figure out what your contacts want to read more about. For example, what pages they visited or which links they click on to reduce these type of unsubscribe spikes. And do some sendings have higher opens and click rates than others? Well, use the information you can get from that and learn what your recipients care about. So segment trend, a little hidden gem perhaps, but it's there under show profiles. And using that, we can follow trends and we can get insights of campaign metrics, for example. So you can follow if your trend is increasing or decreasing. Are your unsubscribes increasing or decreasing, or are your signups increasing or decreasing, and so on. So, and you can also follow movement between segments. So you can track how they shift from being leads to converted, and also if they go from active to inactive and vice versa. And don't forget, you can choose your time period in this diagram. So you can choose from 7 days up to 12 months to get the time frame that you want. Working with segments, there is a certain workflow. First of all, you need to import and enrich your contacts, and you do this by file imports or via integrations. But no matter how you enrich and update your contacts, you must get the data in the platform. And the second step is to define your segments. You need to ask yourself what goal you want to measure and what data you need to be able to do it. And then thirdly, we need to use the segments. So do activities that will help you populate the data, like sending newsletters to check clicks and opens and so on. And then lastly, you need to refine and repeat. So you need to review your segments. Are they doing the job? Perhaps you have a need for more defined segments because the ones you have are not sufficient, or perhaps you can merge them because they just happen to be redundant. Some key takeaways. A key in working with segments is to always use clean data. Clean data is the foundation for every segment. And layer in behavioral data to move from who they are to what they do. And remember that behavioral data is collected naturally in the platform without any imports or API integrations. It's like it's already there, served for you to be able to use. And also use segments in Apsis to be personal and relevant, because being relevant is a key to boost your metrics. And now I'm going to hand it over to Soumya to talk about measuring what actually matters.
Thank you, Carina. So let us look into how you can go beyond these vanity metrics and measure the real impact of your marketing automation flows. Now here are 5 metrics that shows if your marketing automation flows are actually working. Goal recognition rate. Now it is a percentage of profiles who complete the intended outcome of a flow, such as making purchase, submitting a sign-up, or booking a demo. Revenue attributed. The total revenue generated within a defined time window following an automation email. Now this is measured individually for each marketing automation flow. Flow drop-off rate. The percentage of profiles who exit a flow without converting. Now this indicates which steps in the sequence are underperforming. Lifecycle stage progression. The number of profiles who advance from one stage to the next, from lead to marketing qualified lead to customer, is a direct result of the flow. Re-engagement rate. Now this is used in win-back flows. This measures the percentage of previously inactive profiles who reopened an email or completed a conversion action after being re-entered into a flow. Now, where to find these metrics in Apsis? First of all, you can navigate to Marketing Automation Flow Report to access performance data for any active or completed flow. Node Stats under the section gives you a structured breakdown of how contacts move through each step of your automation sequence. Here's what you can see when you click the node stats in the flow. Step-by-step drop-off per node. Each node in your flow displays the number of profiles who entered and the number who proceeded to the next step. Total entries versus completion at the flow level. You can see the overall volume of profiles who entered the sequence against those who reached the final step. Secondly, when you set a goal in Apsis 1 flow, just one sec, yeah. For example, a profile makes a purchase or profile fills in a form, the goal and conversion tracking report tells you how many contacts actually hit the goal and at which steps they did it. Here's what you can see. Percentage of profiles who reached goal. Out of all the profiles who entered the flow, how many completed the desired action? Click goal tracking. If your goal is a specific link click, you can track exactly who clicked it and when. Exiting without converting. Who left the flow without ever reaching the goal? So you can decide whether to retarget these profiles. So in this slide, you can also see when you set up an A/B split test or A/B test inside a flow in Apsis 1. The A/B split shows you how each version performed. So you can stop guessing and let the data decide. Here's what you can see. Open rate per variant. Which subject line got more profiles to open the email? Click rate per variant. Which version drew more engagement inside the email? Conversion per variant. Which version led more profiles to actually complete the goal? And the winning version. You can view the better performer so you know which version to keep or roll out to the rest of your audience.
Soumya, is there some way we can turn these insights into flow optimization?
Yes, we definitely can. Let us look into that question in the next slide, Carina. So here you can see how we can turn the insights into flow optimization. So if you see high open rate, low conversion, A high open rate tells you that your subject line is working and profiles are curious enough to open the email, but a low conversion rate tells you that something inside the email is failing to move them to act. The problem is not awareness. The problem is what happens after the open. So the common reasons where this pattern occurs is when the message and the offer are misaligned, the call to action is unclear or unconvincing, the offer does not match the profile stage. So what to do to fix it? Audit the email content against the subject line. So does the body deliver on what the subject line promised? If there is a gap, rewrite one or the other to create consistency. Simplify and strengthen the CTA. One clear, specific CTA button performs better than multiple competing options. Re-evaluate the offer for that life cycle stage. So early stage profiles respond better to low commitment offers such as a guide, a checklist, or a short video before being asked for a demo or a purchase. Secondly, a big drop off at steps 2 or 3 in your marketing automation flow. What does this mean? When a significant number of profiles exit your flow at steps 2 or 3, it rarely means your entire sequence is broken. It means something specific is happening in that early middle section that is causing profiles to disengage, unsubscribe, or simply stop responding. So what does this mean? The wait time between steps is misjudged. That is, if contacts have forgotten why they are in the sequence, by the time step 2 arrives, they are unlikely to engage. Or profiles are receiving too many emails. So how can this be fixed? Review and adjust the timing between steps. Check for flow overlap and email frequency. In Apsis, review where the same profiles are in multiple flows. Win-back flow with less than 5% re-engagement. A re-engagement rate below 5% in a win-back flow is a signal that sequence is not resonating with the profiles it is trying to recover. It does not necessarily mean those profiles are permanently lost, but it does mean the current approach, the timing, or it could be the messaging, the offer, or the audience definition is not giving inactive profiles a compelling enough reason to return. So what does this mean? The profiles have been inactive for too long. The win-back offer is not compelling enough, or the flow is targeting the wrong profiles. So how to fix this? Redefine the inactive audience more precisely. Lead with a direct and honest subject line, that is, replace standard campaign subject lines like "we miss you" with something that acknowledges the situation plainly. Lastly, try a different communication channel like SMS. Now, we have looked into how to measure what the automation flows can actually deliver. Let us now look into how we can build a reporting rhythm that keeps your team focused on what matters. Over to you, Carina.
Thank you, Soumya. Yes, so let's talk about building a reporting rhythm. And to create a reporting rhythm that suits you, you should plan when you will check and compile your reports. The reporting rhythm depends on your needs and your business. So what to pull from Apsis and where? So in email tool report, you find the opens, clicks, deliverability, and bounce rates. And you can find drops in deliverability instantly when regularly checking your email reports. Do you see unsubscribe peaks? Are your sendings not converting as they used to? Figure out why and use the knowledge for next time. In marketing automation tool, you'll find the flow reports. The flow report lets you know how many goes through a flow from start to finish. And also using node stats, you can also see if the flow is interrupted at a specific node. Maybe you need to adjust it if a node is not working as intended. Using segment and segment overview, it helps you keep track of your contacts. So use segments to see list growth or shrinkage over time and use it to measure campaign success. In the segment trend, we can follow this over time. So when to find the metrics in Apsis? So you can do weekly pulse checks. You can monitor campaign and send volume and deliverability. You can find your top 3 performing marketing automation flows per week. And you can see if you have any drop in open or clicks against the week before. Check for bounces and unsubscribes to make sure you have good list hygiene. Do monthly performance reviews. Check for revenue correlations with email and automation. Check segment growth and churn rates. Are you meeting your set goals for your marketing automation campaigns? Check your A/B test results. A/B testing needs some time to give good results, and also start planning your next steps. Quarterly could be a good time to have a strategic review. Check for email contribution to pipeline and revenue. Check lifecycle progression from lead to customer. How's ROI per automation doing? And check your list health. Are we performing as expected? And what is next step? So this leads us to the end of the webinar. And to summarize what we talked about today, we have looked at where to find our metrics and how to get the insights. We can use the dashboard to see results over time, and we can find our sending performance in email tool reports. Benchmarks are valuable to check how we're doing in comparison to others. And we have the 2026 email benchmark report that you can download from apsis.com. But if you hang on, you can soon scan the QR code coming up next in the webinar to download it directly. We've also looked at segmentation as a metric to be able to catch trends, and marketing automation that can reveal conversion. And we also mentioned the importance of planning your reporting. So let's see if there's any questions. And also take the moment to scan the QR code to download the benchmarking report. What does it look like?
We have a question.
Yes.
I have a question related to win-back flow. Which target group should we focus? Okay, that's a very good question. So here's what to consider when building segments for a win-back flow. Focus on profiles that have not opened or clicked any email within a defined time window, say 90 days, 180 days, 365 days. You can target profiles who were previously active, the profiles who were engaged before the inactive period. You can also target profiles based on purchase history. These are customers who haven't purchased within a set period, or customers whose last purchase was some months back, X months back. A tip is to split the profiles based on inactivity length. For example, you have profiles who have been inactive for 90 days, 180 days. So you tailor the message accordingly, since a profile inactive for 3 months needs a different tone of voice than one who has been inactive for over a year.
Thank you for that. Yeah, do we have more questions? We're soon nearing the end of the webinar. So was there a quick one?
Let's see, we have one from Camilla who says, how soon after sending do you recommend checking email reports? Data can vary a lot when checked after, for example, 1 day or 3 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. Do you want to answer that, Carina? Or?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question, because the email report is a dynamic document, so it does get the updates, but regularly. But I would say the day after you can check your reports, and that should be quite accurate. That's sufficient. The same day, maybe not that great, but the day after you could, maybe 2 days after to be sure. But you don't need to wait much longer, because often the activity is quite, the most of the activity happens almost like 24 hours after you sent your newsletter. Yeah.
In the same person, Camilla, maybe you could also answer this, because you have gone through the segmentation part. A quick one. In my organization, we are many different departments sending emails and using MA flows to different recipients. Is there any way to group the data so I only see my insights, for example, on the dashboard, or ways to group my email reports? Are there ways to group the reports?
The dashboard is an overview of all sendings. So there you cannot split it into different groups. You can find your own marketing automation flow reports. You enter your own flow and check it there. And there you also have the connected email tool reports. So if you enter your own flow, you will get your own stats. So that's not a combination of other flows. If you want to see the report in the email tool, you can do searches just to find your own ones. You can search for a user perhaps to get your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good question.
I was also thinking segmentation, where one could see all the emails sent out by you and the marketing automation setup. You could also create a segment based on that.
Yeah, sure. We've gone past with a minute. I hope you're fine with that. We're gonna, this webinar is recorded, so you'll be able to see it afterwards as well. But we thank so much for everybody to join, and I hope you had a good time, all of you. Yes.
Yes. Thanks a lot and have a nice day. Yeah.
Yes.